Hey, what's up, guys? Just kind of going through and showing you at this stage of CCI, kind of starting to resume some normal activities and what do those activities look like and how am I building on that. So, as always, not medical advice, not a doctor or a PT, can almost guarantee that most of the stuff is inappropriate for like 95% of CCI patients. So get help from a professional that can get you up to this stage where you can start to get to more normal stuff. So none of this is like advice or directions or instructions or any of that stuff. Chances are you might hurt yourself if you try to copy some of this, depending on what stage that you're at. But I just want to go through and show people partially inspiration, that there are people out there that can get at least semi-functional, but also maybe when you get to the stage you can kind of learn a couple things about your body, and maybe some of this will be helpful for you. So anyways, I do those 3 strength training days: push, pull, and leg days. And then so that's one end of the spectrum. Other end of the spectrum, I have cardio days. So I did too long of a bike ride yesterday, maybe 12 or 13 miles. I didn't mean to. I just got caught up and I was like, oh shit, I'm far from home. I guess I got to make it back. So very long bike ride. And the whole time, it's been too cold to ride my bike. And now I'm doing this uh, position and moving like this and occasionally turning my head back for a couple hours. So all kinds of new muscles being used in the extensors, and I can feel my levators and all this stuff is a little bit sore this morning. Not painful, but sore. Um, and on days like this, early on, I would always just rest for a couple days. But today, it's like, I'm not too sore. I can feel it just a bit. I call it like a 3 or 4 out of 10. My legs are still sore. My back and chest are still sore from the strength training this week, but I have energy. So on days like this, I'm not going to do cardio. I'm not going to do strength training. I'm going to do something in the middle, and that's more functional training. So I'll do typically two things. I do a really, really light warm up to start off. Maybe I think I walked like half a mile on the treadmill or something, really slow. Um, and then I will look at my gym log for the week and see if there's any muscles that I kind of missed. I saw that I didn't do enough for the hips, so I'll add that into a day like this on Sundays, and then I'll do functional stuff, which is it's kind of between cardio and strength training. It's going to get the heart rate up in short bursts, but also challenge the muscles, and but not as much as say a squat or a push or something really really difficult like that. So it's typically a little bit higher volume stuff. So let me just show you what that looked like today. So I started off with hip band walks. I have a set of like 5 bands. They're like $10 from Amazon. These are really good for your hips. I've just got so much hip dysfunction after laying in bed for so long and not moving. Sitting in a chair, sitting on the couch, and laying down for a year and a half will just jack your hips and back up. So still trying to pick the pieces up on that. This will hit your hip abductors, which move your hips away from the midline, and also your core a bit. So if you're able to stand and walk and all that stuff, if you kind of dig your thumbs into your sides like this, and you take a little sidestep, you'll feel, if I go on my left leg, I step on my left leg, my right side oblique will fire up, and that's pretty um, pretty helpful for walking because the same thing happens when you walk forward. If you step on the right foot, left side oblique is going to keep that hip level with the horizon. And doing this sideways motion like this, even without resistance or really really light resistance, is going to help those muscles out in addition to your hips and such. So I try to try not to get too imbalanced. I try to keep um, strong in as many directions as I possibly can. So that's sideways, that's straight up and down, that's twisting movements, and that's bending movements, and all this stuff. Just trying to keep it all balanced and strong, all like that. So um, hip band walks, and I don't take. If you ever try this, if you ever get to the stage where you can, I don't take big long steps and put my feet together. As you can see, I keep my feet apart the whole time, and just take little steps and keep those hips flexed the whole time. And that will really tax your hips and obliques and back and even your neck and stuff because you're kind of lagging every step to pull over. Really like those a lot. And then since I did squats with both feet down and push straight up and down this week, I did some lunges. So this is going to obviously strengthen your leg in a totally different position. Single leg stability is obviously very important for walking and moving and all that stuff. And this will try to open your hips up. I used just some light plates, like 10 pounds in each hand, and did a few sets of these. And you can see my hips are fatiguing. As you can see, I kind of fall over and kind of bend with all these last ones instead of going straight up and down. And that's because just my core and hips and legs are just not strong enough to keep things in line yet. And then I did some calf raises with the barbell. So I've got the plates right here that kind of raise my toes, raise my heels off the ground a bit. So then I put the barbell on my back, and my heels can go down below ground level. And that's where they really get strong, is when they get stretched before you push up like that. And usually I use the machine for this, but I also like to switch it up with free weights because you have stabilizers in your feet and ankles and stuff that can get really challenged when you use the barbell instead of free weights, as I've explained before. So another good thing for walking. And then I did a little bit of back extensions. This one sometimes can make me feel a little bit weird. This is going to be a really tough one for CCI. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do this fully. I keep it really low weight, but yeah, I mean, when my head goes down here, I can feel a tiny bit of a blood rush. So it's not a sort of thing that I push, but it really hits your hamstrings and lower back. It's kind of like the opposite of a sit-up, and that's obviously going to hit your core and other things for walking. So I really like these movements. Hopefully I get it back. We'll see. I did 2 sets and felt a little bit funny, but not too bad. And then I did some sled pulls and pushes. So I've got a little rope attached to this sled and like a 25-pound weight, and I just kind of pull it back. So this is going to get your single leg stability in your quads nice and strong, and pull it back and then push it forward. Pull it back, push it forward. And this will get your heart rate going and also challenge those muscles, but not in a sort of strength training way, more of like an endurance sort of fashion. And then, as always, I wrap up with a quick, 20-minute stretch. Just try to get my hips to open up, calves to open up, and all that stuff. So anyways, keep it pretty chill on Sundays. I don't try not to push it too hard on days like this where I'm a little bit fatigued in some areas, but also have some energy to do things. So, just the overall goal, as Dr. Centeno puts it, which I think is really smart, is the threading the needle thing. So that's, trying to stay as active as you can, but not pushing too far to where you hurt yourself, but also not being too lazy and not pushing yourself at all, because it's only when you kind of get, dip your toes in the water of that next level of activity can you start to build on that and build on that and build on that. So that's the whole thing. And next I can put out a video of the next stuff that I do. It's pretty straightforward, just like isotonics and maybe some neck lifts and stuff like that. And then after this, I'll try to make a detailed video. People have been asking me about like my symptoms from A to whatever I'm at now, J or whatever letter you want to put it. How did I go from hard neck brace laying in bed for months to weaning off of that to the soft neck brace to sitting up in a chair in a neck brace for a couple hours a day, and then wean off the neck brace to sitting up most of the time to 5-minute walking and eventually up to where I am here. So that'll be coming. I just got to put a lot of thought into that, and also just be careful. I don't want to get out of my lane here because I can't give you advice. Your injury is more than likely completely different than mine, and different symptoms, and we have different bodies and different treatments and all this stuff. So it'll probably just be a perspective of here's how I did it. Here's how it felt like all along the way. And I kind of ramble on, but I could also talk about this stuff for hours and hours. So hopefully this is helpful. Again, if not for just mental sake, that there is somebody out there who's like able to at least kind of use their body and move a bit. So good luck.